Welcome back, Advice Pod. Kyle, Raysean, Jackson White. Today, we have got a little bit of some r/ask. What is a seemingly mundane question you can ask somebody that will tell you a lot about their personality? Pretty simple question, I feel, but you could kind of go anywhere with it. So I talked about it last week or the week before with either Raysean and Sam or Raysean and Patrick. I can't remember which episode. But that Daniel Tosh podcast that's on YouTube, one of the greatest podcasts that I've come across in a long time. The guy's off to a really, really strong start, and I'm really enjoying the content. But he has one of these questions that he'll typically ask at the beginning of every single interview, whoever he talks with. And the first question he'll ask them it's just to learn. He learns a lot about them from this one question. The question is, do you believe in ghosts? And then depending on how they answer, that kind of dictates how the rest of the conversation is going to go. Because if they say yes, he's like, oh, all right, I'm talking to a fucking idiot. But if they say no, he's like, all right, I'm talking to a rational person here. So I think the question, do you believe in ghosts, is kind of a funny, interesting, relevant example because seriously, if you haven't checked out that podcast, you should. It's a good time. But do you guys have any questions that you might... I know that I have questions like this for Dragon Ball fans because I've gone around doing Dragon Ball surveys at conventions so many times that I know which questions to ask to be like, do I like you or do I not like you? But it's like a bigger version of that. It's like just in life, generally speaking. Do you guys have any questions you might ask somebody?
Well, I think it's since you had a Dragon Ball specific, that makes it a bit easier because it's kind of more pointed in a direction of something. Because it can be difficult to make any real judgments off of a quick answer that somebody gives. I mean, you really got to get to know people over time. But I think definitely maybe something that has to do with politics, not like a very specific question, but like something politically related that could get them talking, maybe just how they generally see others. You know what
Dude,
I'm saying?
Yeah,
yes.
I
Like,
got two. Oh, sorry.
You nailed what you seriously. I'm just gonna say mine now because I thought about it for 30 seconds and I think we all went to the same place, right? Politics, sort of. But like, I don't want it to be like, what do you feel about this candidate? What do you feel about Donald Trump? Whatever. I don't want it to be that. My question is, it's not even a question. All right, it's very open ended. I think that's what you have to do. You have to give them an open ended question and let them go where they want to go. My question is, how about that homeless man? How about that homeless problem? And then just see what they say.
Okay.
that's a good one. That's really a good one.
See what they say.
Yeah, if they start like talking about them with empathy or talking about like, oh, just get rid of them. I'm tired of seeing them, or like, oh, a bunch of lazy people, stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I think that may not be necessarily something that you just strike up all of a sudden, but it could be. It could be
Mhm.
because it's kind of vague and it's not too deep. And like you said, it's not like, what do you think about Donald Trump? What do you think about Joe Biden? It's just kind of more something that everyone may have to deal with at some point, or maybe somebody who's dealing with it. So that's a good one.
I also have like 17 other variations of that sort of question, but Rayshon, what do you think?
See, I've been kind of like thinking about this question for a little bit. I come up with three different categories. My first one was basically like how you feel about Trump. I feel like that can kind of give you somewhat of a personality
I
of
feel
a
like that gives
person.
the whole game away when they answer that question.
But I'm starting to feel like a lot of people are in between because, like, even when I was thinking about that, I was like, I don't know. Then you kind of made yours specific when you was talking about homeless people. So then I'm like, so what's something specific? So then I was like, okay, what about, do you think COVID was real? You got like the chicken flu, the pig flu, and all that other government hoax stuff. Do you think COVID was real type shit?
Would you
And
call it the Kung Hao pig flu?
well, all them other flus they would be talking about they had, like the
The
chicken
many
flu and shit.
names, the flu with many names.
So I'm like, do you believe in the COVID? Do you think that was bullshit? Do you think all those people was dying? Was that real? Like, see how they
Yeah.
feel about that. I think that's a good question to kind of pick up on their vibes. Like, you know what? I think all that shit they were showing was fake.
I feel like every single question you just said Just gives the game like, if you wanna know everything about a person instantaneously, boom, those are the questions to ask.
But see, I feel like I'm asking questions that can also stir my opinion too, because I'm always one of those people. If you hit me with something that's like, and I can't prove you wrong in that moment, you might have swayed me for a second. So I'm like,
Oh,
okay. But then I will do research if it's like, you know what? How the fuck did they know that and I didn't? Like, you know what I mean? Because sometimes some people throw some things at you, you be like, what? If that's true,
I can
like
see Jackson White, like, sipping the water bottle right now, getting ready to be like, "Hey, Raysean, this is how you ask some, reversal questions," or,
oh no, I
you
was
know?
just gonna. I thought of a good question to ask somebody that was politically related, like how they feel about the reversal of Roe v. Wade. Like, you know
Oh,
what I'm
and they'd be
saying?
like,
Like,
who's that? What's Roe v. Wade? I don't get
well, I
it."
mean, if something along, if they didn't know what that was exactly,
They could just
maybe
be
just leave it alone.
yeah, they could
Yeah,
just be
maybe just leave it
super
alone if they don't know what that
apolitical
is.
or, like, Simple
Yeah,
Jack style shit from Tropic Thunder, you know?
yeah. But again, that's if it happens to come up in conversation. But yeah, I feel like if somebody was like, "What's that?" It'd be like, if it was
Yeah.
like that. That would be mine. This was a good question. This is
Well,
definitely a good question.
how do you feel about how about the homeless problem? That's my first one. Man, it's been really warm this February, huh? What's up with that? Give me the answer on that. Uh, how's
mm.
about, man, Facebook is peeping into all my fucking private conversations and giving me sponsored ads. How do you feel about that? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of different examples of stupid questions that people will either be super, I mean, they must have an opinion about it at a minimum, right? And then from the opinion, I can form like my own opinion on them.
What about like what type of cereal they like? I feel like you can know a lot of know a lot about a person
You
by the
think
type of
so? All
cereal they
right, so
like.
let me tell you what kind of cereal I like, and you tell me what you learn about
Yes,
me.
yes, we need
Although it's maybe
examples.
not fair because you know me very well, but Cinnamon Toast Crunch, love them shits. What does that tell
Okay.
you about me?
You like something with a lot of texture.
I oh, yep.
Oh, so this tells you things about maybe what you could cook for them or what types of foods they may like or something like that. You know, like if you like to chef it up or something, or if you got, maybe you want to buy them some food or go out to eat or some
You
shit like
don't like
that.
soggy cereal type of shit.
Yeah.
How's about like what country are your ancestors from? Because like my mom is from Portugal, my
I
grandparents
don't
are
know if
from
everyone knows
Portugal.
that though.
What about like Portugal? I mean, it's a
No,
place
I was
people
like,
know about
what
it.
where their ancestors are from.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, black guy, slave stuff. My bad. But I could draw some inferences about some people if I knew that they were from Portugal because I'm familiar with that background. I'm like, oh shit, you like going to church, you like accordion music, you love Cherise, you probably like the pop sook shit. And your mom's probably mad abusive and has thrown a sandal at your head in the past. I don't know. I don't know.
I think
Just
sometimes just
spitting.
asking people where they from, you can kind of get an inference on what kind of personality or what kind of person they'll be. Not like stereotyping them, but a lot of people from over there usually be a little bit more wild than versus other places. You know what I mean?
Oh, like somebody from the Northeast being like real rude and like brash with their communication style.
Mm-hmm.
Also with their usage or lack of usage of the letter R in the words that they pronounce. Ka, you know what I mean?
Yeah, how like Boston accent sounds a lot more rough,
Yeah, definitely.
mean.
Boston is probably some of the in terms of that East Coast accent. That's definitely the real thick one.
Do you know how much it bothers me that people think I have a Boston accent sometimes? Like
Really?
people that I talk to outside of this region, like people I talk to on the internet and shit, they think I'm from Boston. And I'm like, nah, man, like I've been there. I've spent a lot of time there, an hour north of me, but I have a Rhode Island accent, which is similar to a Boston accent, but it's not quite as obnoxious. It's like the Rhode Island accent. I think I've said this before on some show, maybe this show. It's like the in between, like the fucking bastard child of a Boston and New York accent. That's the Rhode Island accent in between. All right.
Gotcha.
What was the question again?
It was
What's a
it's
mundane
mundane.
question
Yeah.
Do you believe
that
in
can tell you?
ghosts? Who believes in ghosts? Jackson?
Eh.
Rayshawn?
I could be persuaded. either way. You know, I don't have no proof, but I don't want to say it. They
I mean,
don't
ghosts in
exist.
what sense? Is there life we can't see, or like do people die and then their
See, this
spirits
is when
float
it
around?
becomes an open question. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
you know, like got it. Because some people will think about things differently. They'll be like, well, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean the same. That's one thing I've learned. We're getting maybe too deep, but not really, you
No,
know,
man, not
because
deep enough. Tell me your feelings about ghosts. Give me your ghost philosophy.
I mean, no, I don't particularly believe in stuff like that. I believe
Oh,
in other things, but I don't particularly believe that there are demons and angels and shit like that flying around. Like that just doesn't seem plausible to me. I think that reality is a lot cooler than that actually. And
Hmm,
more weird and strange than that too, honestly. You know, like when you really, which is the cool thing about really just continuously learning. It makes
that's
what
interesting.
it makes reality just that much more interesting. Oftentimes you'll see that magical thinking actually makes shit about this big,
for
you
those
know?
of you who are not listening or
Hmm.
not watching on YouTube, Jackson just made a rectangle with his thumb and his index finger and his other thumb and his other index finger and did it like this. Again, go check
Yes.
out the YouTube video to see me making the
Y-
same sign. This is
Yes,
a
I made a
really like
And also
yeah.
like the video.
Oh
yes,
yeah,
also
that's
yes, like
right.
the video.
You're right. You should have hit me with that like fucking 10 minutes ago. I
Oh
forgot
my
all about it.
gosh.
It's okay. I'm just happy you remembered. Because I wouldn't have remembered. You're right. I love you. You're right. Good job. My point is, this shit sounds like a real Eric Foreman's basement kind of conversation at this point, and that's hilarious as hell. That's kind of what this show is sometimes. But I will say, I don't believe in ghosts, except I believe in ghosts and their storytelling potential. I think ghosts are an interesting kind of vehicle to be able to tell a story about somebody who, maybe prematurely passed away and had some unfinished business or some fucking kind of thing to finish here on earth. You know what I'm saying? That's basically unfinished business, but said in a different way with the fuck word. I think it's an interesting storytelling device. But if
Yeah.
you think there's some ghost that's gonna come up behind you in your house in the basement when you're trying to go down there to fucking flip a circuit breaker at 2 in the morning, and it's gonna like come up behind you and grab you. That's not right. You just feel that way because you're down there at 2 in the morning, and that's not a typical thing for you, and you're in an unusual situation anyway without being without power. You know what I mean? Just like to quote the Ghetto Boys, your mind's playing tricks on you. Dun 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 dun. Anyway, make sure you
But what
tell
do
us.
you tell those people who had those real stories? Like, I was going downstairs and a ghost jumped on my back.
I told
How
them that
What do you tell them that
I
that's
would tell them that
bullshit?
they probably had some kind
You're
of
like,
no,
"No."
I'd hear them out. I'd hear them out and
I
be
just
like,
listen to
"Wow."
him.
And then I try to rationalize it with them and be like, "Sounds like you, sir, could benefit
It sounds
from
like you
some."
don't believe, Kyle. That's what it sounds
I
like to me.
That's exactly what it should sound like.
Then
What
I
I'm
don't need to
trying to
talk
say
to
is
you.
I
No, you ain't even on my level. Let me
Bro,
go
at the
somewhere else.
beginning of this, you said that you could be swayed. Who swayed you in the last 10 minutes? Was it me?
No, I'm just saying you never know. Yeah, I don't want to say one way or
He's
another.
leaving room. He's leaving some room for possibility, just in case.
Yeah, he's playing
I don't
both
need to be
sides.
hit with a ghost looking me in the face like, so you don't believe in me. Now
Yeah.
you like, oh shit. Now your whole world and got flipped. Mine's didn't. Because I'll be like, I never left out the possibility that you could exist. You know what I mean? These other motherfuckers, they probably scared to death right now.
I don't want to disrespect you, just in case. You know what I mean?
Raysean's playing both sides so that he always comes out on top, which I appreciate. Good play, man. Make sure that you, the listener, please tell us down in the comments what's a question that you would ask somebody to get to know about them very quickly. Like, how you feeling about them homeless, or do you believe in ghosts? Also, in addition to that example of a question, tell me, do you believe in ghosts? Because if you do, tell me your ghost fucking stories in the comments. It'd be funny if we got enough of them to do a whole segment on ghost stories and then trying to pick apart whether they're like valid or like not valid. If you have ghost stories, leave them in the comments. And make sure you check back in tomorrow where we talk about a couple of rich bitches, one of them being a very newfound successful podcaster who's making more money than she knows what to do with and is saying some very shitty things about her friends. That's rude. Oh yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and advice. Yeah.
Yeah. And if
Yeah.
you have any questions you think we didn't say in the video, list them below.
Yeah,
List them
definitely
below.
drop them because this is definitely a good topic.
Do you believe in
And
ghosts?
don't be a butt cheek.
Raysean believes in ghosts.
I mean, I believe in every religion and don't believe in every religion. Just in case when I die, there's a motherfucker up there I don't know of. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be able to walk through one of these motherfuckers' gates. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gates, I'm gonna be able to get through 'em.
So what do you do if you go up there? It's an elephant and then like a human head up there. What do you? I just be like, shit, you know, whatever. I knew, like, fuck it, I'm with y'all. Hopefully, y'all all about respecting thy neighbors.